All right, so today we're going to be solving triangles. So what solving triangles means is for us to find all of the sides and all of the angles. So recently we've only been looking for one angle or one side. So now we are going to find all of them. So if we look at this first example, we have here 53 degrees and the 10 feet. So if you notice, we know two of the angles. We know that this is 53 and this angle is 90. Okay. So then from there, if you know two angles, so given two angles, this is an example when they give you two angles, then that means that you're going to have to find the sides first. So given two angles, we're going to have to find sides first. Find sides. So since we know those two angles, we're going to find the sides first. So if we see this 10 is going to be our opposite. And then we know the angle is 53. And then we need to find the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So we can start with whichever one we want. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and start with the adjacent side. Okay. And so if we're doing O and A, we figure out which trig function we're going to use. In this case, we are going to use tangent. So we set it up tangent. I don't know why it's not writing. Well, there it goes. Tangent of 53 degrees equals, the opposite is 10 over our adjacent. Okay, we don't know what our adjacent is. That's what we're looking for. So since we are looking for our adjacent side, we are going to cross multiply. And we end up getting A times tangent of 53 equals 1 times 10 is 10. So then here, our last step to solve for A is to divide both sides by tangent of 53. Tangent of 53, tangent of 53. All right, so this cancels, and then we punch in our calculator, 10 divided by tangent of 53. We hit enter. Oh, you know what? My calculator isn't in degrees. Let's see. And it gives us 7.54. So A equals 7.54. So that's what I'm going to write. So here is 7.54, which is A to C. So 7.54, and they want us to write our answer over here, and it's AC. So 7.54. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and find the hypotenuse. So now we're looking for the hypotenuse. So they gave us this side was 10, which is our opposite, and we're looking for the hypotenuse. So then that means that we're going to have to use sine, because sine is over h. So we set it up sine of 53 equals our opposite, which is 10, over our hypotenuse. We don't know. I'm going to leave it as h. We're going to put this over 1 and cross multiply. So we're going to do h times sine of 53 equals 1 times 10 is just 10. Then our next step to solve for h is going to divide by sine of 53. So these signs cancel, and we're left with h equals, and in our calculators, we're going to punch in 10 divided by sine of 53, and that is going to give us 12.52. So on here for h, our hypotenuse, this is equal to 12.53. Okay, so that's from A to B. So this is going to be 12.53. Okay. You know what the units are? Feet. Feet. And then our last step is to find the angle B, the one that we don't know. So we know that the three angles of the triangle, we have B, we have C, and A. The three angles of a triangle should add up to 180. So for us to find the measure of angle B, we're going to have to do 180 minus the 90 and also minus the 53. And so when we punch that in our calculators, we're going to get, let's see, 37. That gives us 37 degrees. Okay, so we solved the triangle. We found all of the sides and all of the angles. Okay, now for the next one. So for this one, we know two sides, so we're given two sides. Okay, on the previous problem, we were given two angles, so we're given two sides. So when we're given two sides, we're gonna have to find the angles. Find angles. Okay, so here we pick which angle we want to find first. We can find F or we can find H first. It doesn't matter. Now I'm going to pick F. So if I pick F, then that means that the 4 is my opposite, and that means that the 8.2 is my adjacent. Okay, so then that means we're going to use tangent of X. We don't know what the angle is. That's what we're looking for, is equal to our opposite, which is 4, over our adjacent, which is 8.2. So this is exactly what we were doing yesterday. Now to cancel out this tangent to solve for X, we have to use inverse tangent. So let me zoom in a little bit. We put tangent inverse, and what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. This cancels, and we're left with X equals, and we punch in our calculators, inverse tangent of 4 divided by 8.2. And that gives us 26.00. So for the angles, we're going to round to the nearest degree. So that is going to be 26 degrees, okay, which we had found angle F first. So that's what I'm going to fill in here. Oh, 26 degrees. Okay, now to find angle H. So if I am looking for angle H, then that makes the 8.2 here my opposite. So it's no longer the adjacent because we switched angles. Now it's the opposite, and this one's no longer the opposite. This is the adjacent. So when I make my trig function, it's going to be tangent of X equals my opposite, which is now 8.2, over my adjacent, which is 4. We do the same thing. To solve for X, we're going to have to do the inverse tangent. Okay. That cancels this tangent out, and then we write it over here on the right side, and we're going to have to punch that in our calculator. So we're going to put tangent, inverse tangent. So we press second and then tangent of 8.2 divided by 4. And that's going to give us 63.99, which rounds to 64. Okay, so angle H is 64. And then the last step is to find that last missing side. So we're missing this one right here, which is the hypotenuse. So we can go ahead and use Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to erase this stuff because it's getting kind of messy. But we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So if they already give you two sides, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So let me make some space. We have 8.2 squared plus 4 squared equals, and then C, we don't know the hypotenuse, so I'm just going to leave it as C squared. So first we put 8.2 squared plus 4 squared in our calculator, and that gives us 83.24, and this is equal to C squared. We're going to go ahead and take the square root on both sides to solve for our hypotenuse. 83.24. And that gives us 9.12. So C, which is our hypotenuse, is 9.12. Okay, which is this side right here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. F to H is 9.12. So you guys have your assignment. Go ahead and get a head start on it. If you're a little bit lost, you're going to need a little bit of help. I'll help you tomorrow. But you guys need to at least find, I know you guys know how to do Pythagorean theorem. That's really easy. And I also know that you guys can easily find the third angle. If they give you two angles, you can easily find the third angle by subtracting from 180. So that's the bare minimum that I need to see on your papers for today. Make sure you guys turn in the modeling and the assignment. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.